the Widow Tracer, that's where they're going to really struggle. And so right here is where it's going to be very difficult for Fusion University. Now, they do have Alarm on that Sombra to try and make up for Who Are You not being as comfortable on the Tracer as he is trying to get into the back line.
This is Optic style here, where they're not running two supports. They're putting one of the supports onto the Sombra. That's why you see Alarm playing it early on. So you're not going to have Alarm getting early pickoffs to Zen, but Fusion is going to have more ability to be highly aggressive here, but the Roadhog comes into play early. KSF taking a page out of Smex's book, finds Who Are You in the beginning. Zachary trying to even up here as Widow in the back, doesn't have the greatest shots, under pressure, still looking for it, and ends up getting duck hunted by Retzi in the end.
Yeah, this triple tank composition coming out from Simplicity is just really going to make it difficult for Fusion University. Who Are You, like we had mentioned, not as comfortable on that Tracer and already getting punished by KSF's Roadhog. That really allows Retzi to do things like that. Repels to the sky, takes out Zachary, and already Simplicity off to a great start.
He knew exactly when Zachary was going to be coming out of the spawn and tagged him once more. And Retzi starting out with a statement here in the Widow v Widow setup, as Simplicity is overperforming arguably in the beginning.
Now Who Are You was able to finally answer back. Retzi has gone down. They've got the man advantage. Gingerpop gets the D-Mech onto Kraken Laka, but now it's Zachary's time to shine. He's opened up, taking out Gingerpop. KSF not able to finish off Baby Diva. And so Pulse Bomb comes out. DPS, will he be able to survive through this?
Right now, KSF still plenty good on the point. The tank line of Simplicity holding their ground here, but DPS is down. The EMP from Alarm ruins the shield play there as Fusion dives on in, and that's going to let them forcibly take the point away from Simplicity.
Yeah, it looked like they just did not have the sustain to keep DPS up. He was stuck at around 200 HP after that Pulse Bomb, and it's super hard to heal up tanks as that Lucio. Gingerpop only at 65%. Retzi starts it off. Once again, Elk has fallen.
And again, I think if Simplicity has a path to victory here, it's through Retzi, because I think that's one matchup where Simplicity can give Fusion a run for their money. Off the early pickoff, they move on in. Retzi looking for more, gets Zachary, cleanly winning this Widow v Widow matchup and giving Simplicity the leg up here. So Fusion being tested here early on off of this Widow play from Retzi.
Sound Barrier only connects onto 3. Beast Halo has to use his Primal Rage. They're trying to hold on to this point now, but DPS is here with that hammer ready, just ready to try and knock them onto their butts. Does not connect with that, and it's still Fusion University stalling this out.
They're stalling it out, but they certainly have not won this fight here just yet. You see Simplicity holding on, getting progress all the while, but Retzi's down. Beast Halo went in pretty deep to get him, was rewarded, and now this is where we're gonna see Zachary take advantage. Doesn't have to worry about the Widow for a while. In the back, looking for the damage on the Rhine, down goes DPS. Again, now if they come in from the right side, they're gonna get sniped out by Zachary, so Fusion able to retake the point, and you know, the little bit of help on Retzi helped out.
Yeah, and so Retzi, he's going to stick with this Widowmaker, getting challenged by Alarm, who instantly translocates out. He does have that health pack hacked now. They make another incursion with this Sombra as Simplicity. They're really grouped up.
They're so grouped up, and they cooked Alarm. Alarm still gets the EMP off, though. Gets out. The rest of Fusion University diving on in, and it's enough, but oh my goodness, they almost shut down Alarm there. Who Are You? Drops a Pulse Bomb, and that might have been eaten. I'm not quite sure. Either way, doesn't do much in that situation. And Simplicity actually kind of deathballing their way out of the situation somewhat, at least keeping it even. Who Are You? Not getting too much done around the side, just trying to do tank damage. Gets hooked in and taken down. Meanwhile, Zachary, though, laying in damage from the backside, but it's KSF on the point, backed up by the Earth Shatter. Simplicity now on the way of taking this, and another nice hook from KSF, but doesn't work. He's killed before he can finish it off.
Yeah, didn't have the follow-up that time, and so Fusion University will maintain control of the point now as overtime ticks away, 99 to 71%. Zachary on the high ground, but it's Gingerpop to challenge him, but he will fall for his efforts as overtime ticks away. Fusion University will walk away with Ruins.
Very back and forth there, and look, as far as it went there towards the end, that EMP did not make for the cleanest fight, even though it went off, but if they were able to finish off Alarm before it connected, that could have been the difference maker for Simplicity. So already we kind of came in with this narrative of, does Fusion stomp opponents or do they play to their level? And it's just the first round, there's plenty of time to go, but Simplicity was able to make that rather close.
And I think Fusion University really did weather the storm. I thought that Ruins was going to be the most difficult point for them. They're going to stick with Who Are You on the Tracer, as it's going to be Zachary now going over to the Sombra for them. On the opposite end, it's KSF to pick it up, while Retzi will try and play more control style with the McCree.
Were you on the Tracer here early on? Fusion not really waiting too long, being a little bit more aggressive, but oh, Zachary caught early on. It's Wanjali with the Zen pickoff, and Fusion University, you can just hear them screeching and backing out. As a result, we're used poking around the outskirts, but Simplicity can be far more dominant here, and this is a sight for sore eyes. Retzi on the McCree, one of the heroes he's most famous for here, as Fusion is actually doing a reasonable job of delaying.
Yeah, I'm surprised they actually went in for that re-engage as the point unlocked. They were still waiting for the respawns. Retzi dropped low, but he does have the pocket of his teammates to keep him alive now. He's just kiting away. Simplicity gaining progress onto that point very narrowly, not able to secure it quite yet. Beast Halo gets in. Who are you? Dropping Ginger Pop, but he will fall. So now it's equaled out.
You drop Ginger Pop, you drop yourself right off the ledge is what happened there. Simplicity still trying to move on in. Neither team with control here yet, and it's Crack-a-Lackin' and the tank core of Fusion University that's getting the space needed. Retzi coming in late, but not great opportunity here. Might have gotten the Tracer, but that would have been a gift if anything else. And Retzi now having the back out, taken down by Who Are You on the side. Fusion University secures first control.
They secure the point, but they did use a lot into that. Beast Halo using that Primal Rage. Luckily for them, they have both support ultimates coming online. So Simplicity have a difficult time trying to crack this here. Come down to KSF. He's got that EMP almost charged up. Will he be able to get on top of Alarm? KSF tries to make his way on in, but he's instantly forced out of his stealth.
As you mentioned, he's looking for Alarm here, dealing damage to Beast Halo, but would love to get the EP that can send a little bit more. Diva gonna be Team X, KSF waiting in the back, waiting out the Transcendence, drops EMP later on, and I'm not sure if he hit as much as he would have liked there. Meanwhile, Fusion University hanging on, they have an EMP of their own, Retzi already out of the fight, and now we're Zachary. Can drop the EMP at any point, but doesn't have to. The dive from Fusion University once more has done enough, led by Who Are You? And Zom's going, please get me out of this nightmare. He is going to be thrown off the point.
And yeah, during that though, Simplicity, they were able to flip it, so the damage was a bit mitigated by Simplicity there. Fusion University, they just went really hardcore onto Simplicity, trying to secure that fight that allowed Zoms to get onto it, flip it for them. So at this point now it's at 50% for Fusion University, ticking up. It's Zachary this time with the EMP.
Zachary got poked down really hard early on. The flanking side of that too much. Alarm picked off from the side, and now Fusion University, do you engage the EMP into a 5-on-6 fight? Zachary says, yeah, I'm gonna do that. Retzi pummeled on the other end. Fusion University stuffing Simplicity even after the early pickoff.
Yeah, that EMP was great because he saw both tanks were there, the Diva along with that Winston, and so if they're fighting that fight up against a 2v1 up against Zachary, you take that trade, you make sure they stay there, allow the rest of your team to jump onto the squishies of Simplicity. And so now Retzi, he does get a cheeky pick off onto Who Are You so they can push forward with the man advantage.
Who Are You is looking for the pulse bomb to stagger Simplicity even more, instead gives a man advantage to Simplicity. Now, Who Are You is going to be back in the fight before Simplicity is able to get super far in. But look at this, KSF, they have to res him immediately. Beast Halo, though, goes too deep, tried to deny the res, and ends up dying himself. Zoms might be out of the fight, but it's still even. David, Who Are You in the back? The bomb takes down 2, and it evens things up for Fusion University. Now just a few pickoffs away from taking this first map.
Few pickoffs away indeed. Who Are You on top of Ginger Pop right now? DPS though, Primal Rage. 2 frags trying to equalize it out for his team. Sound Barrier along with Transcendence being used. Fusion University stacking those, but they will secure the team fight win. The 2-0 victory here on Ilios.
So Fusion University able to maintain control there, even though Retzi did have moments that were scary, especially in Ruins.
Yeah, you know, you guys made the comment about Retzi's making a statement with his Widowmaker in the very opening of this map. And what struck me about that was I was wondering if it was Zachary more testing the limits of Retzi to see how much he could get away with and pay attention to other areas in the team that needed to be addressed.
No, yeah. I think Retzi was just outplaying him, in fairness, in the Widow v Widow setup early on. Like, especially when consider parts where, are you testing your limits when you walk out a spawn and Retzi's already in the skies? It's like, hello, takes you off again.
Yeah.
I mean, Retzi was reading Zachary really well early on.
He was doing that, but it was also simplicity, just creating so much space for him. That's what the tank line is supposed to do for your team. And, well, if you have 3 tanks, you're able to create that much more space, especially if KSF is connecting with those hooks.
All right, we also have some footage. This is Who Are You on Tracer, who I know is a fan favorite of you guys and pretty much all of Reddit.
Well, of course, you have a player with a storied Apex history, and it's interesting as you watch him sort of put Tracer more into his skill set, because we think Who Are You, you think projectile DPS, but the nature of the meta, the way it is right now, is that sometimes you do have to flex, and I would say his Tracer has been hit or miss, but certainly in this series here, it was more hit than miss.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, right now, the Genji players are really up against it. They have to learn a new skill set. A lot of teams, you know, they expect that the Genji has to be able to change off onto the hit scan going over to Soldier 76. Making this transition over to the Tracer is the oddball one because, well, generally, you just have, like, your one-trick Tracer in so many of these teams. It's weird that Who Are You is the one that's forced to go onto that Tracer now that the Sombra meta has really taken into effect.
Do you guys feel that that Fusion was playing to their full potential? Or do you think they're holding back?
Well, I think they were playing pretty fine for the most part. Again, it's sort of what we identified in the beginning, right? Where I feel like I don't see Zachary as being a huge liver Retzi or vice versa, and that's the one matchup where, depending on the variance of the day, that the Fusion could have difficulties in Retzi checking Zachary throughout the day. But the problem is that overall, Fusion's roster of tanks and especially supports, I mean, with Alarm, even though he was on Sombra half the time, I think the support core Fusion is much better right now, and that still is creating huge issues for simplicity and actually winning enough fights over the course of a match.
All right, so you saw we are heading into Hollywood. How do you see this playing out, Jamerson? What do you want to see from Fusion's side?
I mean, it looks like Fusion are probably going to try and run Sombra on the defense and on the offense, but honestly, you have Who Are You? He's a great Genji. This is a great Genji map, so I want to see them go for that, but I'm expecting Who Are You back on that Tracer and Zachary picking up the Sombra.
And what about the other side? What do you see from Simplicity?
Coming up for Simplicity here, I mean, I'd be curious to see KSF more on Roadhog, but on the same note, it worked out for a little bit of a time and then didn't work out fully. I think it's just going to be a tough road for them. I mean, we've seen Retzi, especially on Hollywood, have ridiculous games on Soldier where he's very good at just staying alive forever on the Soldier, rotating around, having good visors, good cleanup. But there's plenty of threats on the Fusion side that kind of neutralize that, not the least of which, I mean, we think about the DPS, but Alarm has also been sublime in picking off things like Soldiers early on.
Yeah.
You guys had talked about Retzi's Widowmaker outplaying Zachary's, and then later on in the second part, we saw Retzi coming out on McCree, and you had mentioned that was a hero that Retzi was known to playing. We're going to jump into game here, but I would love for you guys to talk a little bit about what you saw from that McCree play with Retzi.
I would say with the McCree play just in general is that it's one of two things. The McCree has to be going crazy, landing every shot to secure the fight, or the McCree has to have plenty of space from his team. And overall, Retzi was just getting dove on pretty heavily, and the time he did have, he wasn't doing enough to make the McCree worthwhile there. And McCree, I feel like oftentimes does function as sort of an all-or-nothing hero. Either you're going to crush the fight or just get ruined. And for Simplicity, they got ruined.
Yeah, so Simplicity, they were hovering over far for their offense for just a moment, but instead they're just going to go with the dive instead. Fusion University, Zachary on the Sombra, and Who Are You? Stuck with that Tracer now, so we'll see who can catch the others. Support line, Beast Halo spotted out already. He does have to back away. Elk dropped low, though.
He was really close to getting picked off. Retzi has a very good engage into the backline. The problem is that Zom's getting focused down here. There's a lot of fire going in on him, but he's able to stay alive. He still has his mech all the while. Now he's going to get demexed, but he kept it for longer than expected here. Retzi going back to rejoin his team, doesn't have that flanking position anymore, and as a result, Fusion's actually handling this quite well.
Fusion is, and there we go. Zachary's in the back, almost got the clip down. There's Beast Halo to follow up on him, but it's Zenyatta for Zenyatta now. And so, with Retzi getting hacked there, they're not going to be able to keep him alive. He will fall.
Retzi going down means that the odds of Simplicity getting in on this attack go even lower, but ult-wise, it's not the worst. The problem is now they have to play around the EMP.
Yeah, Zachary was able to build that up super quickly for Fusion University now. See where he positions for this. Tracer, who are you on the high ground? There we go. Zachary just hiding there in the corner in the cubby, but instead of using that EMP, they just jump onto Ginger Pop.
It's a gift, and no, actually Fusion, they used the EMP anyways. I don't think they needed to in that situation, as Simplicity was sort of trying to gamble and go all the way around, but doesn't quite work out, and Fusion University should be able to get the cleanup they need here. Pulse Bomb out from Who Are You? Connects on the DPS, takes away a huge chunk of his health, and yet Retzi bring it back the other end. So Fusion, the more this fight goes on, the more they're starting to get staggered. KSF picks up 2, and Simplicity actually going to bring this one back.
Yeah, and that's just the power of Tracer and Genji. You're just going to have so much front-loaded damage there. So almost 2 ticks secured. Sound Barrier is used by Simplicity here as the Transcendence goes down, along with that for Fusion University through this Blade. But KSF will find that frag onto Zachary. Now he's on the hunt. Alarm falls. This defense has been broken.
At some point, Fusion has to go, okay, we're going to stop throwing bodies at the point, stop feeding ult charge. That moment was probably a little bit before, but finally they do realize it. Simplicity, though, getting the limo moving.
So now Zachary's, ooh, as he just swaps off KSF with a great deflect. Takes him out.
Have your bullet back, says KSF to Zachary. Simplicity going to control the high ground here early on. That is important in just stopping a defense from getting momentum. And Fusion might have to invest a bit here just to get back on top.
Just to get back on top, they are not even peeking out the doors. The studio quite yet, there they are. They are now going in. Red Sea starts it all off. Alarm has fallen.
Gets on Alarm. Alarm isn't able to contain him like he was sharp and day goes. Red Sea continues. Got both supports. Simplicity making it look very easy right now off of these openings created by Red Sea. They're able to finish off the rest of Fusion University because Fusion dove in, but their supports were already dead.
Now Crackalakin with that delayed kill there. Gonna have to wait. Once again, Fusion University, they've got 4 ultimates up. I want to see Zachary swap off. I want to see them go for that Tracer Genji, but Who Are You? Sitting on this Pulse Bomb. We'll see if he can come up with another 2-man clutch Pulse Bomb for his team.
Zachary's Tracer is disproportionately better than the rest of the heroes in his pool. That much is indisputable. Who Are You? Coming in the Tracer, off the back. Doesn't throw out the bomb here just yet, waiting and waiting, but finds Wanja, syncs up with Beast on the back, gets the stick on the Ginger Pop, and Who Are You? Making a case for him being on Tracer, even though I would say he's still more at home on the Genji.
Indeed, Zachary just able to get some puck shots off. He's at 92% now towards that Recon Visor. But Fusion University used a lot of ultimates just to try and hold that. It was a Primal Rage, the Sound Barrier, along with that Pulse Bomb used. While Simplicity now, they have a moment, they have a window. As Alarm's only at 75% towards his Transcendence. KSF has his Blade, he can go in.
Let's see right now, having to give Who Are You plenty of room on the losing on the Tracer battle, backs up to his Lucio. Meanwhile, KSF, Blade at the ready, a barrier to support it at will. Simplicity, waiting for this chance here. Meanwhile, Retzi, forcing Who Are You, but while this goes on, it's a late barrier! 2 people already down. KSF invests the Blade, but the timing could not have been worse for Simplicity in that fight. A nice engage by Fusion University, and though Retzi is still skirmishing around the payload, it's still rough for Simplicity. It's not the clean engage they wanted.
It's not, especially with the respawn distance here. So Fusion University, they will have a full 6-man to try and get onto this payload now. Simplicity, they need to buy time. They need to buy time for their respawns, but there it is. Pulse Bomb forces out the Transcendence.
But that's fine. Fusion was about to use the Transcendent anyways. It works out for them in the situation. But Rutzi got Elk before he got through the door. There will be no more Mercy riding in, but look at this. We have Zachary swapped to the 76. Plenty of room made by Who Are You? Who Are You? Destroying the backline once more. His Tracer unchecked, and why do you transcend there, Wanja? Your entire team is dead.
The entire team is dead. He's just left on the payload. The lone Omnic now. About to get hunted down by Who Are You? Now he's still giving him respect. He knows the orb is on him. One headshot along with a kick would take him out, but ultimately he hunts him down.
Huge error there by Simplicity. They would love to have that Transcendence here, Jamerson, and they're not going to have it.
They are not indeed. And so that's going to buy Fusion University plenty of time, as Zachary has made the swap off onto the Soldier 76 to build up their ultimates. And so now it's all down to this 40 seconds. Simplicity need to make it onto the point. Retzi now on the lurk, trying to hunt down Who Are You?
Metal Gear Retzi in progress, going for Who Are You? A tough kill if there ever was one. He ends up on the raw end of it, has to back out to the health pack. Meanwhile, while he's doing this, DPS is already down. The rest of his team was engaging, and Huryu's already back, just chewing up tanks with Beast Halo, with Cracklacken. Fusion University now 18 seconds away from the second point hold.
Yeah, Beast Halo has fallen, and they got a D-Mech onto Zombs. But Zachary, Bloodthirsty, will complete out that elimination. And so now it's all come down to this simplicity. They're going to try their best to regroup, but it's 4 seconds now. They need to get onto the point.
Got to touch a payload first and foremost. After that, slice people up with blades. They do get on the payload. Now you look to KSF. Already getting weakened down. If you lose tons of HP, you're not going to be able to blade. He dashes in and gets wrecked. What in the world was that? I get he just needed to get on the payload, but he's not able to use the blade now. Zachary in the back. Attack Visor just supporting. Transcendence going all the while for Fusion University. Do or die here for Simplicity. KSF is back up. It's going to be a while till he's back in the fight. And now it's a tanks for Simplicity. Giving up their lives for the cause here. And it's just not going to be enough. Fusion University getting all the cleanup they need. And you're going to see an emergency blade from KSF here. But how much can it possibly do when he's so outnumbered, so outgunned? He's taken out. And Fusion University gets the hold here on second.
Real back and forth, but mostly just Fusion University, once it got to the second phase there, further along, they were able to really stabilize that. Might have just come down to a few blunders on the side of Simplicity. Like you had mentioned, that Transcendence coming out from 1J Lee when the fight was already over, long over there. It seemed like a panic trance, but it did not need to be used at all. And from there, Fusion University, with the final swap-off coming out from Zachary, Soldier 76, bought them so much time.
I don't think blunder is the appropriate word for that. I think disaster, just absolute travesty. Take whatever you want to say there, is that you can't give up a Transcendence in a point where there is no reason to use it other than the fact that you got spooked by Who Are You and hit it out of habit. It sucks, it happens, but when you do that, you just ruin your team's chances, because think about how much differently KSF could have dove in there if that Transcendence was up. It could have been a very different point. And you can't make errors like that in Overwatch against teams as good as Fusion University and expect to end up on top.
Now, Fusion University, they are feeling it. They want to get the second map victory. No more to map number 5. They just want to get that sweet 4-0 victory for themselves. And now, Who Are You is hovering over the Genji. Zachary on the Tracer. Elk, you know, I wouldn't be against him going for this Widowmaker.
Not going to happen. Elk is going to continue to drop the beat on Lucio.
Zachary says no, it's my Widowmaker.
All right. He said please swap Widow, went to Widow himself. I'm fine with him going Widow here, especially early on. Widow and First Hollywood sometimes underused. You can use the tree to get up over the top, get an early pick off, and more than anything else, you just want to apply pressure to the Red Sea, however you do it. But Zachary decides, actually, Tracer is the way to go.
On the defense, though, it's going to be Retzi on the Soldier 76, KSF on the Sombra here, then Ginger Pop the Mercy. Try and really keep 1J alive, along with damage boosting Retzi to try and get that visor early on. Zachary now going onto the point.
Zachary moving his way on in. And remember, the goal here is kill Retzi. Retzi is the heart and soul of the Simplicity defense when he's on the Soldier. He's very good at positioning himself around, very good at getting high damage done when it matters most. You dive him first, the rest follows. And Fusion, they get the early D-Mech, they're working their way around. And they get it too. So Who Are You able to get the key kills in the back? Both supports down for Simplicity, and Fusion University doing enough here.
Yeah, they're going to get this last staggered elimination onto KSF. And with that, they'll start making progress. Now, Simplicity, they do have a window to try and contest, but instead, they're just going to back away and give it up and reset.
Simplicity, a little bit extra delay there, but not a little bit risky. Anyways, Fusion University now going to get the limo going in 5 minutes and 30 seconds just to get halfway through seconds. That is a tough road to defend if you're Simplicity.
Especially when they're not really able to safely get this high ground. 1J Lee dropped low, but the EMP, the hack was there, from KSF to shut him down. So they got the D-Mech. Now this is the opportunity that Simplicity need to try and reestablish their defense.
Well, they don't just need an opportunity, they need like 10 opportunities in a row here. This is, again, a very hard time to defend. Just by passive pressure on the payload, Fusion University can bring this to a one-fight margin here. So Simplicity must be perfect, and the first stop here is a good EMP from KSF.
KSF He's on the high ground. The tanks are ready, poised to go in for the jump now. Over the top, KSF comes in. EMP is down. It's onto Lucio, but they're not able to follow up with the damage.
They weren't able to get onto Alarm either, and this is a good counter-engage coming out from Fusion University here. Alarm with the Transcendence, didn't get bopped by the EMP, and Fusion University able to fight their way back. And no small part due to Alarm with an excellent Transcendence in this fight. Kept Fusion alive, EMP or no EMP, and now Fusion perhaps one fight away by the time it comes down to it from taking this map.
Yeah, Elk just able to hide away from that. It's huge for Fusion University now. 4 minutes. It's coming down to the wire. 40 meters left for them to push it to get the second victory, put themselves up to match point now. High ground being contested. Who are you? Might drop. No, he just drops down to get healed up.
Fusion University flankers in trouble. Zachary gonna rewind out. Elk can drop the barrier here at any point. Beast Halo's in danger. He needs the barrier. He needs it now. He's so deep. He's able to get out. That was him you just saw leaping on your screen. Gets the back line.
Exciting.
And they didn't have to do the EMP or the sound barrier here just yet. Now they use the barrier closer on the point. Simplicity is all grouped up. This is a great fight engage here for Fusion here so far. And Zachary moves to the back line, chewing through tanks, Crack-lacking with the bomb over the top. Retzi desperately trying to bring it back. Got one support, but it's Crack-lacking and Zachary just bullying Simplicity in and around the point. Fusion University, this blade could be the end of it. Who are you? Gets one, looks for more, gonna slice through this mech armor. And this is looking like a quick second point tank for Fusion University, and they go up 2-0 in the series.
There, we got to see the power of Who Are You's Genji. I mean, instantly he swaps over to it and he looks so much more comfortable than he did on that Tracer. Not to say he wasn't doing a great job on Tracer when we were playing on Ilios.
Yeah, you guys had talked about wanting to see that kind of the Genji come out, and I was wondering though, do you feel like early on in Hollywood, when you had Zachary on Widowmaker and Who Are You on the Tracer, do you think that that was a worthy trade-off for them?
I mean, I'm not entirely sold that that is their peak power. I still think their peak power is when you put Zachary onto the Tracer and you put Who Are You onto the Genji, because, again, I think Who Are You is just better at Genji than his other heroes, even though his Tracer looked very respectable today. I thought his Tracer looked better than what we've seen in recent times by a fairly decent margin. Zachary, though, I think his Tracer is just much better than the rest of the heroes in his pool right now.
Do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, that's just the consequence, right? You do have to run Zachary on that Widowmaker, forcing, of course, Who Are You to go over that Tracer. But today, he's had a standout performance. I mean, his pulse bomb rates, he's connected pretty well with the percentage so far. And if it weren't for, that two-man pulse bomb when we were on Lighthouse, it could have been a completely different story. Might have gone to a third point on Ilios.
So one of the big turning points in Hollywood in this that first round of it was that like fear transcendence. Like, I don't know what that was. Who forced that out? Because I didn't catch that.
Who Are You? Who Are You got to the back line, and it's sort of in your DNA as a Zen sometimes, where it's like, oh God, I'm gonna die. Use Transcendence. The problem for Wancha is that use Transcendence, and everyone was gone. It's like, oh, I have made a terrible mistake. And I think it really did cost Simplicity, because you go to the next fight, KSF just dives in and goes, I have nothing to heal me. I die now. Doesn't even get the chance to blade in the key part of the fight.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are going to go to commercial, but when we come back, we are going to see if Simplicity can pull this back around from Fusion University. Let's stick around. See you in a minute.